Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in today to Awaken and Ascend. I am Jennifer Regular, your host, and I'm wanting to delve into a topic today that I think so many of us listening right now can relate to, and that's how we balance out the hustle and harmony. I mean, we all want to be in our flow, right? To feel that joy and the grace and the ease of being able to peacefully move through our lives in a good way. And yet, so many of us also really enjoy the hustle. I mean, let's admit that. Let's own that. We enjoy the hustle. We feel energized, motivated, inspired, and ready to go. And yet, it can also push us into overdrive and diffusing our energy, flowing in so many different directions that we don't quite have the kind of impact that we want as a result. And so we're just spinning our wheels, burning ourselves out, burning that rubber, and it's not sustainable. So today I want to delve into what can we do to be able to balance that hustle with the harmony and really have the kind of impact that we're here to make. So this is what's happening on Awaken and Ascend today. And I thought the best way to share this is actually read a magazine article that I wrote for Her Nation Global magazine, because I think it goes into all the different tips and points and ways of understanding how we can actually balance lasting harmony and success through being able to align with what's meaningful and important to us, which is also going to translate into what's meaningful and important to everyone else that we're here to serve. So this is the article that I'm about to read, and I'll share a link with it too in the video description if you actually want to read it. But it starts out just talking about that common refrain that we all have. I'm so busy. I feel so overwhelmed. There's so much I want to do. I don't have time for that. There's just so much on my plate right now. Which phrase do you often use when you're asked how things are going? Right? We always tune into the productivity aspect of our lives, what we got done, what we didn't get done, but how are we really? How are we being? How are we showing up in the world? So if you're a purpose-driven entrepreneur, a multi-passionate professional, or maybe a high-frequency achiever, it can be quite normal to be busy hustling, performing, and being productive all the time. So much so that you might not have given the time to rest, to play, to dream, to reflect. And that can be a dangerous game that leads to losing. And I don't mean failure, I mean losing your inner drive, forgetting your why, losing precious sleep, and that may have also negative effects in your relationships, as well as your physical and mental health. However, it doesn't have to be that way. The busyness of business can be so much more fulfilling and overflow into those other life areas that might not always get the best version of you. And that's what we want to be able to do. We want to be able to give people the best of us, not what's left of us. And so all those other life areas besides work and business and career may be vying for our attention, and we just don't have it in us. We don't have the capacity to be able to be our full, authentic, happy selves in those times because we've used it all up in our business or career by efforting so much. So what if we can create better results all the way around so that we do have the capacity to be happy and feel fulfilled in every single area of our life, financially, socially, mentally, our family, our friends, our work, and our business, all of the things that can bring us so much joy when we can truly live life fully and have the energy and passion to do that, which essentially is what has the greatest impact for visionaries. It's our energy and our passion that has the greatest impact, not so much about what we do. So we really want to be able to look at sustaining that energy and passion, which is why I decided to read into this article. Because when you align with what actually makes your heart sing, and you plan your day around what you love to do and who you like to do it with, then there's a greater chance of a win from balance to success. And you know how I love acronyms. So win in this case is about what's important now. What's important now? And that's really important to actually write that down, take a moment to reflect, even pause this right now and think about this. Really delve into it, really feel into it, tune in to what is important now. Because when you turn into what you truly love, what's meaningful for you, what you stand for, what you value, and you refine those values and what you're spending your time and energy on, that's the win. That's what holds you in a place of integrity, and that's walking the path of authenticity and the greatest impact you can have. So what I'm saying here is that we want to be able to have that, don't we? Do you want that? Do you want to be able to have your time and energy directed in a way where you get to experience that greater freedom and fulfillment? Of course, right? So focusing on what's important in the moment grounds you in what you're most about and creates balanced success as you shift from overdrive to overflow. And this overflow comes from all the time and the energy that you claim back from when you had yourself in overdrive. Being in overdrive so much means that you're almost in a constant state of heightened activity, which is the hustle, and using so much more energy and effort that might not even be required, right? So you're putting yourself in overdrive by using more effort, more energy into things that don't actually require that much effort and energy. So pushing yourself to and beyond your limits may demonstrate a high level of dedication, and it can also come at the cost of your balance, your well-being, your equilibrium, your sustainability. This often leads to feeling overwhelmed and depleted. Have you experienced that? I know I have. In fact, I used to put myself so much in overdrive and override my nervous system that I would completely shut down. My body would just stop. I'd have adrenal fatigue, compassion fatigue, every type of fatigue you can think of because I couldn't move anymore. I actually exerted that much energy and depleted myself because I wasn't paying attention to what can replenish me, what was actually fueling me, what was draining me, and paying attention to those things because I wouldn't make time for all that reflection. I was just go, go, go all the time. They called me Energizer after all. So yeah, I can relate to that too if you've ever felt that way. And it's a common mistake to always be getting ready to get ready, feeling like we're not enough and having to strive to get somewhere and yet never actually arriving, right? And we know this from our to-do list. As soon as we check off 5 more things, we've added 7 more, right? We're never getting ahead of our to-do list. We're always going on, never really arriving and achieving our goals and our dreams because there's always something more. Something always seems to be missing. And that's what leads us into that habit energy rather than creating an actual practice that puts us into flow, into alignment with who we truly are and what we truly came here to do. So if you're in the hustle all the time, then you risk spreading yourself thin. You become more stressed, anxious over not doing enough, and getting things the way that you want them to be. That perfectionism kicks in despite your best efforts. So when you're doing a lot of work and not getting much accomplished, then it's time to start looking at how you can work smarter, not harder, which is usually the opposite of how our brains are wired these days, right? We got to do more. We got to work harder. We're not dedicated enough. We're not doing enough, right? And so we work harder and harder. No, it's time to stop that and really tune in and decide how can we work smarter? How can we work smarter? So I have some tips. Working smarter means finding a way for things to be effortless. Not to say things are going to be easy necessarily, just that you exert less effort trying to get everything done. In other words, instead of operating from poverty consciousness, where there never seems to be enough, you start operating from prosperity consciousness. So it's a mind shift. It's rewiring our brain into prosperity consciousnness, where you have all the time and the resources that you need to accomplish your mission and start seeing your vision come alive. Think about that. Write that down. What would life look like if you were operating from prosperity consciousness rather than poverty consciousness? So moving from that not enough to having everything that you need right now. Operating from this higher vibrational state allows you to start magnetizing what you're after, magnetizing it. So you're attracting it. And this gives space to allow the people, the places, and the assets and more resources that you need, including money, to come to you. So you get that time, you get the money, you get the freedom, all coming to you because you've magnetized it, because you're operating from that higher vibrational state. This is how we awaken and ascend, everybody. So your focus shifts from what's urgent to what's important. Your focus shifts from what's urgent to what's important. In this way, you have much more to gain and a lot less to lose. You also start living in alignment with your values so that you can express yourself and your work from the best version of who you are and become much more effective in every area of your life that is most important to you. So what would your life be like if you're motivated by love rather than fear? Love rather than fear. So fear is that part of that hustle, right? And getting going and fearing that we're not doing enough or not doing things correctly, or we're not going to be accepted, or everyone's going to forget about us if we disappear for a little bit. But if you really love yourself and you love what you do, then you're operating from lots of vital energy, which is an acronym of love, by the way. Lots of vital energy. That's where that true premium fuel comes from. That's where you truly, authentically, and integrity experience life and that aliveness and the joy and the enthusiasm, because you're fully whole and aligned with who you are and what you came here to do. Where fear, we start operating out of obligation and guilt and the not enoughness. And guess what? You're not going to get the outcome that you want operating out of fear. Fear, in fact, leads you to a mediocre life. So if you were acting on what you love, rather than racing and striving to avoid what you fear, what might be possible then? What might be possible then? What would you do today if you were brave and courageous enough to operate from love and possibility and expansion? One way to get started on the path of a more fulfilling life is to start noticing how you are currently spending your time. If it's not like you'd like to be spending your time and energy, then make some changes so that it does. This will enrich your life outside of work and allow you to bring new energy into your work and to be more productive as a result. So here we're shifting from productivity and performance and the way we've been prioritizing that into prioritizing our health and our well-being. Imagine that coming first so that you're not conforming to society's standards, but you're actually being in integrity with what you truly value and what you say you want, which is quite often health and well-being, peace and harmony, right? So it enriches your life out of work. It allows you to bring in new energy into your work and be more productive as a result, which will further empower you rather than drain you. So are you ready to shift from that hustle into harmony, or actually be able to integrate the two so you can have it all? Because as multi-passionate entrepreneurs, we want to be able to do everything. And so we need to build the capacity to be able to do that. So that's the end of the article. You can find it, a link to that below. I so look forward to your comments, what you related to, what you didn't, what kind of questions you have. Always happy to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining me today on Awaken and Ascend. We're here every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Sometimes it's just me. Sometimes I bring in a guest. And so I look forward to seeing you again or hearing from you. And make sure you subscribe and like this video and share it if you found some value in it. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.